next topic being protecting 1 billion plus users from the digital frauds. In an era where financial transactions are increasingly digital, the stakes have never been higher. Globally, over 90% of organizations have reported an instance of cyber attacks impacting their customers in some shape or form. Cybercriminals are becoming more sophisticated, and the challenge of safeguarding our customers' trust has never been more urgent. To address this and much more, we're elated that we have with us two of our dignitaries joining us. Moderating this fireside chat, first we have Mr. Ramdoss Seetharaman, Senior Partner, McKinsey and Company, and the speaker for this chat is going to be Srimati Vidya Krishnan, Deputy Managing Director, IT, State Bank of India. Let's welcome both of them with a warm, warm round of applause.
Thank you very much, and a warm welcome to everybody in the audience, and a very warm welcome to Madam Vidya from SBI. As we think about the session today, protecting a billion users, I think the context is absolutely the right time for us to think about this question. The reason I say that is, in multiple ways and forms, the next decade is India's decade, right? It is the next decade where we are going to actually go through a fundamental transformation, both on the back of digital AI across sectors. And of course, at the center of it is the financial services sector. If you look at it today, we are at about 3.5 to 4 billion order deliveries of e-commerce every year. 3.5 to 4 billion. The same number, maybe 5-7 years back, was less than 200-300 million. So we've gone up tenfold in the last 5-6 years. If you look at the UPI transactions, in a similar way, they have gone up manifold. In fact, I would say at a faster pace than even e-commerce transactions. All of this is saying that the digital and AI factor is the one that is helping us leapfrog as an economy. And as we do that, one of the important topics is, how do we make sure that while we are digitizing every aspect of our economy, and that is a big force, how do we make sure that there is a very safe environment to do it? How do we make sure that everybody, whether it is a senior citizen, whether it is a young person graduating just out of college, whether it is a busy office goer, we do not succumb to any type of financial malpractice in the digital world, is an integral question to have as we think about this India's next digital decade. And to put it in an oversimplistic fashion, you know, when I talk to some of my friends who are into cars, they say the most important thing for a super fast car is actually to have good brakes. And to that extent, this is about building a very good brake and a risk mechanism so that we are preventing financial fraud at the highest level. With that, maybe let's get into the discussion on sort of how do we protect a billion users. Let's just start off with SBI's journey as a digital giant, not just in India, but globally. The transformation at YONO has been one of the most talked about and stellar examples of how India digitizes. Talk to us a little bit about what are the 2-3 big things as you thought about SBI's digital transformation over the last few years.
Thank you, Ramdoss. Really happy to be here. And this topic is very, very close to our hearts. That is, how do we bring safe banking to a billion users? In fact, the population of India today is 1.4. And as a banker to every Indian,
Right.
we would like that every Indian is on YONO. So as we speak today, we have around 80 million, that is 8 crore customers already registered on YONO. And this has been a journey that we started sometime in 2015. SBI has always been on the forefront when it came to adoption of technology. We started with core banking, and then we had the internet banking, and then in 2015,
Right.
We started on this YONO journey and launched it. So YONO is a feature-rich app, virtually the bank on the palm of a customer. That was the endeavor. And so YONO is about, for the retail customers, it's about banking. It's about beyond banking, that is the non-banking products from our JV stable. And it's also about lifestyle, where we have the online marketplace for any kind of e-commerce purchase or that is beyond financial, lifestyle products. And then we felt that having products for our customers, why not we actually also have a product for the for those who are not customers of our bank, but would like to be part of the UPI system ecosystem. So in 2023, we launched YONO for every Indian.
Right.
So uh, that's about YONO. And now, as we go forward, what we look for is how we could bring in more bespoke and personalized services for our customers, and how we could do for more for others. So we've already started on that journey. So the revamp of YONO, and thereby the whole platform, both the front end and the back end, is in progress, and very soon we'll be launching YONO 2.0 for all our customers.
Fantastic. No, 80 million, transactors on the digital platform is an incredible achievement. So kudos to the bank and to you, madam. One of the things that I want to pick up on is you mentioned the word trust. And, the whole financial services ecosystem is built on a fundamental currency of trust. So as you think about, sort of the various issues that are there as it relates to digital scams or other forms of fraud, what impact do you think it has on the trust? In what ways has the bank seen this impact, the trust it has for its users on the bank?
It's said that fear breeds fear, and trust gives more trust. So as at State Bank of India, banking on trust is banking on security and safety for all our customers. So security and safety is part of the designing process when we actually look for products. We are mindful of the regulations, we are mindful of the security, and especially when it comes to, you started by saying that we have 1 billion users, and how do we actually bring them the best? And we see that digital adoption is growing much faster with the smartphones, and in general the kind of enablers that the India stack brings in, and the kind of early gains that we've already seen from digital adoption, digital inclusion, financial inclusion, and digital commerce. So unless we bring in trusted products, we feel that going forward, the migration to digital channels would, to that extent, get reduced, or there may be we'll have to go back to the customer. So that's the reason why we feel that security and safety is paramount. When we talk of security and safety, what are the challenges that we seem to face at this point in time? Surmountable though. One is around cyber security, and the other is around the social engineering issues that we face. We see rampant phishing, wishing, and there are all kinds of permutations and combinations of alphabets ending in ing that signify some kind of threat that a customer would be facing while on a digital channel. And from the cyber security point, we do see many times even state actors involved in ransomware attacks, or it could be DDoS attacks, or other kinds of internal and external frauds that result in pain for the customer. So as I said, we adopt security by design. And so the kind of architectures that we create are zero trust. And also we are mindful of the regulations around privacy. And we have the right kind of, the architectures and the components. We have full observability so that we can leverage the security, the operations as well as the network, the applications, the device, the applications, the network. Across, we have full-fledged observability, which helps us understand. And we have also moved to a realm where we are able to preempt a lot of issues that could arise from the security point of view.
Right. No, thank you for that. I think, we all have to move the ecosystem along. I think 2 points that I'd love to build off what you said, ma'am. I think number one is, In various research that has been published, two factors why this is a complex problem to think about. I think first thing is the number of citizens who report such issues is actually a minuscule number compared to the number of citizens who go through it. And this is true globally. It's not an India phenomenon, it's a global phenomenon. Globally, the Anti-Phishing Alliance puts out a fact that only 7% of the people who get affected by a phishing or a scam actually report it anywhere, right? The remaining 93% of them are typically silent sufferers. So we have to be, like you said, the bank has to be proactive in addressing this. Number two is, if anybody actually goes through this kind of a issue, and I am pretty sure everybody in this room has had some first or second connection which has gone through some issue of this sort, then the loss in trust of the digital ecosystem is significant. Typically, the research says that for the next 3 to 4 months, they do not do too many transactions. And even after that, they are very reluctant to follow through on digital transactions. So I think to that extent, what the bank is doing is integral to make sure that we get everybody on digital, because even a one hit for one person actually is a slowing down of the journey that we are on. One thing I want to talk about is, if you think about the bank's perspective, what could be 2, 3 highlights of things that are either already in the work or the bank wants to do in the future to specifically address this particular issue? I would say, there are, as you rightly said, there are multiple things, cyber security and so on. But if we just were to focus on citizen-oriented phishing attacks, what could be 2, 3 things that the bank is most focused on?
So we have a proactive risk monitoring process and a system in place, full-fledged, where we do our behavior checks, velocity checks, etc. So we are able to preempt through the use of AI and ML many times when there are these attacks, and we've been successful in doing that. Apart from that is also the security stance that we take in interconnected ecosystems, and the kind of the SLAs that we have with our vendors to ensure that at any point as the transaction moves, we will get the full observability of what's happening at one place. So
Right.
that's one thing. Now, again, coming very specifically to the the phishing and the wishing that you talked about, I think there are lots of tools that are today available. And as I said, in these kind of interconnected systems, what we actually want is more collaboration on data, so that we and as the Reserve Bank of India always says, so one is proactive monitoring, the second is early warning, and the third is incident reporting.
Right.
And that holds good for not just digital, any kind of fraud or any kind of issue.
Right.
So we follow that path, and in fact, what we look forward to is that if the various players in the industries could actually come together. For instance, the banks could come together, the telecom service providers could come together, fintech partners, or people in the cyber space who are actually finding solutions for these. If we could all come together and find a solution for this. We do understand that there are solutions around the SMS filters and sophisticated phishing tools where you can actually, the content gets scrubbed, and AI ML models are deployed. And based on that, I do believe that today we have the capability to even bring down links from these. And because links is one of the main ways in which we find phishing happening, because whether it is wishing or whether it is phishing or phishing, ultimately it has to be executed mostly through a text message. And how it's done through the text message is through the link that is part of the text message. So if we know what exactly, we will be able to protect two kinds of customers. One, those people who are being targeted, as from the bank, with messages that seemingly are from the bank.
Right.
And the other is for the users of the bank also. So we do look forward to these kind of, we feel that there's a collaborative journey, and I think we all have to walk together, and I do see that there would be light at the end of the tunnel. Of course, we'll always be playing this cat and mouse game with these scamsters and the fraudsters. But I do believe that because we have a more structured approach and we have the focus and the willingness to invest in these kind of solutions, we do believe that we will be able to bring down these instances and incidences to a very, very large extent.
Thank you for that very profound point. And just to synthesize for the broader purposes, there were four things you alluded to. First is there is a very clear regulatory framework. You mentioned that. Second thing you talked about is the need for an ecosystem to come together, the financial services ecosystem, the telecom ecosystem, the technology ecosystem, advent of newer technologies, so AI, ML, and sort of taking down the links in real time and so on and so forth. And I think most importantly, I think the last one that you talked about is actually, in some ways, we have to figure out the full-fledged solve for it in a cat and mouse fashion. So this is a constantly evolving space. So we need to keep upgrading our technology with the latest and greatest solutions that there are available. And that way stay one step ahead of the fraudsters and other malicious actors. So thank you for that very profound set of points of view and educating us about how the largest bank in India is thinking about fraud and protecting the billion plus users that the economy has. Thank you so much.